Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is October 20th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see the state of California here. We got Baja, we got Hurricane Norma down here. You can see its eye and some deep convection spinning around it. Should continue to move up towards Baja. We'll take a little bit of a look at that. You got our next system out here across Pacific Ocean here to be bringing a trough down across much of California and cooling us off quite a bit here over the next several days. And then we got some big time model disagreement between the GFS and the European and what's coming in the extended. GFS showing much colder air mass over the Intermountain West, which include portions of California, and the European showing a bit of a warm up. So we'll take a look at those details as we go through the video here today. Here's tropical storm force wind speed probabilities with Hurricane Norma down there. And you can see those odds are increasing for Cabo to get some potentially damaging gusts with this system here. And it does include some of the western portion, the west coast here of Mexico as well. So if you have any interest down in Mexico, heads up for this. Big rainfall likely coming for southern Baja Peninsula here at Cabo, the airport there as well. Now, looking at some of these totals, I mean, the control run has up around 8 inches with this system here, but you're looking between 4 and 8 inches of precipitation. So big rainfalls incoming there. If you want a stormy vacation, you guys know the place to go here. And this is upcoming as we go through this weekend. There's still some active fires there across. Some of these are prescribed burns out there. The fires are fairly small, but if you're smelling smoke out there, there are some prescribed burns. There's actually a couple of these active fires also ongoing right now, but they are fairly small. Not too big of a deal right now. And this kind of shows all the prescribed burns here in the greens, showing across some of the southern central Nevadas and some of the central and northern Sierra Nevadas as well. Even at towards the coastal range, they're doing some burning out there. Try to get rid of some of that mass before, the next dramatic fire season strikes here in California. Taking a look at the satellite imagery, you can kind of see that marine layer bouncing around in Southern California here. There is some dense fog associated with that. You can see it moving up the coastline to the Bay Area and some of the valleys here as well. So heads up for that if you are out and about this morning. Take a look here. Hazardous beach conditions Friday. This should be wrapping up during the day today. It should be on the wane here, but it's going to go through 2 a.m. Saturday. They have that high surf advisory continuing on. Again, mainly Big Sur. They're actually a little bit south of Big Sur, it looks like there as well. And there's some high surf advisories, or there were for some of Southern California. So don't let your guard down just yet. We'll take a look at that slide here in a moment. But this is a total storm rain with this next system rolling in here. And look at this. You might get a 1/10 of an inch or so around the Bay Area here, between 100th and 1/10 of an inch. But we'll take anything we can get, right? Higher amounts across the higher terrain, pretty typical. And some of the Eureka might get up towards a 1/2 an inch. Fort Bragg between 1/10 and 1/4 of an inch here coming up. We'll look at the weather models and what they expect here in a moment as well. High surf, dangerous rip currents through Friday. This is Southern California, Los Angeles National Weather Service. Look at this, 10 to 15 feet, local sets to 20. So heads up if you're going out to the coastline today, don't turn your back on the ocean out there. Watch for those rip currents. And this is looking, you can see there's dense fog advisory, small craft, beach hazard statements, marine weather statement out there also. So heads up if you're going out to the coastline this morning. And of course, you can see the much cooler weather coming in as we go through this weekend. National Weather Service, Hanford, California. This is issued this morning here. And chance of precipitation does extend to the south a bit here, even for Fresno and Merced, Modesto out there also. It's not a great chance, but it's something. And I'll show you what the models say. We still have some disagreement between the European and the GFS on how much it's going to fall. But let's take a look at things here. This is the European on the left versus the GFS on the right. The 06Z, that's universal time here. So right now you're subtracting 7 hours from that. That was released or these models started running at about 11 p.m. yesterday. And you can see Baja here. There's Hawaiian Islands. There goes Hurricane Norma. There goes that system that I showed you in the infrared satellite imagery out over the Pacific Ocean and the ridge. It's been bringing the warm weather here across a lot of the Intermountain West. So you can see the ridge move on here, and we bring this next trough in here. This is our next storm system trying to bring some precipitation and definitely going to cool us down here over the next few days. This is Monday, October 23rd, early in the morning, about 5 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And now if we scroll a little bit further, pretty good model agreement between the GFS and the European, dropping that trough down across the area here. But then look what happens here. The European brings this bit of energy out over the Pacific Ocean a bit more here. You get cyclogenesis, and it kind of keeps that cold air bottled up to the north. But the GFS has a much sharper trough digging all the way down across the Intermountain West, where this European run comes to an end at 144 hours there. And this would be about late Wednesday night. And you can clearly see the difference. I mean, look at the ridge starting to rebuild here on the European versus the GFS, the much sharper, colder trough here across the area. So we've got our work cut out for us here. It's going to be very interesting to see what the models show today. I expect they will start to merge a little bit more as we go through the 12Z runs coming up here. But yeah, big disagreements showing up here as we go through the mid portion of next week. Now, looking at the North American model here, this only goes out 48 hours, but it kind of gives you an idea of what's coming up here. Good short-term agreement, again, with the dropping down across the area here. Then you can kind of see that next system on its way. And how far will that trough drop down across the Intermountain West is kind of a question we need to answer here over the next day or two. Looking at the European on the left, again, on the GFS on the right, this is total precipitation in inches. Let's go ahead and check out what this first system is going to bring in here. And you can see the European bring in better amounts, especially across some of the foothills of the northern Sierra there and the north coast. The GFS, and definitely a bit more restrictive with the precipitation. You can see the European wants to bring some down for Southern California as well. Actually, the GFS does show a bit there also, but you could get up over 1/10 of an inch for some areas and a definite cool down incoming here. So interesting stuff there. Again, the European a little bit wetter than the GFS. Looking at total precipitation on the NAM 12 km, if we put this into motion here, let's see which this one sides with. You can see it's bringing some towards Southern California here, but kind of in between the European and the GFS, a little bit more sporadic here with some of the precipitation totals across Northern California. And you can kind of see Hurricane Norma and its associated moisture keeping on down to the south and east of the area here. Not expecting much of this to get up into California, maybe clipping the southeast portion of Arizona right now. Here's the total snow in the European, the ensemble mean. This is the average of all 50 ensemble members. So that initial system that rolls through here, maybe a little bit of snowfall for some of the highest terrain of the Sierra Nevada, but not too much showing up just yet. It's going to really depend on the track of that next trough that moves through the midweek portion coming up here. Looking at the European on wind speeds here, as we drop this trough down over the area, you can kind of see typical stuff out of the northwest across the coastal areas. But then as we go on in through Saturday, as the trough drops down, you can see some of the stronger winds start to pop up here. And then as we go into late Sunday night, see the stronger winds ripping across the desert, some southerly winds going across Nevada here as well. Could get some gusts up the 40, 50 mile per hour range here. And again, these are going to be westerly, southwesterly, moving across some of the desert areas in the higher terrain. You can see the wind picking up down the coast as well as we carve this trough down across much of California over the next few days. And as we go out towards Monday, you can really see it picking up off the coastline there as well. So yeah, bringing some blustery conditions with this next trough also. Now take a look at the difference in temperature. This is 850 millibars, about 5,000 feet. So you're looking a little bit up in the upper levels of the atmosphere here. And this was yesterday afternoon's European versus yesterday afternoon's GFS. So there goes the initial trough here, bringing the cool down. Good model agreement with that. The cold air moving down across the area. But then the GFS wants to cool things down, and the European says, nah, we're going to build a little bit of a ridge here and keep things above average. But you can see the differences here showing up. I mean, look at the amount of cold air the GFS has versus the European's much warmer air aloft. So yeah, a lot of disagreement we need to work out here, a lot of details we need to iron out over the next day or two. And I have a feeling we'll probably get a bit of consolidation as we go through the day today. This is looking at Ontario. The definite cool down is coming in, then kind of hovering around average. And again, the European definitely was the warmer of the models, and it shows a bit of that bounce back here towards the end of the month. This is Bakersfield, California, something similar there. San Francisco hovering around average. Nothing too crazy right now, but it looks like there may be a little bit of a chance of a warm up here as we go through midweek a little bit here for some of Central California. We'll see how that goes. Here's Blythe kind of hovering around average after this warm up, cooling down, and then kind of staying there as we go towards the end of the month. This is Los Angeles, Oxnard here, and you can kind of see hovering around average as well. But yeah, we're climbing back down out of these lofty temperatures. We're going to cool things back down towards average for the most part, and then we got those details to work out in the extended Palm Springs, something similar there as well. 6 to 10 day kind of mixed bag here, and this is probably going to bounce back and forth here depending on what the models say again today. So we've kind of been going back and forth with the below average and some above average here across the region. 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, not telling us too much there also. I showed this yesterday as well. This was issued yesterday here, the drought monitor. I mean, glorious. Just some abnormally dry here across the state of California, and enjoy it all while it lasts, because the drought will be back at some point. It's just inevitable. But it's nice to enjoy it while we are in drought-free conditions across the entire state. You can see a little bit of this dry Coming for the central California coastline there is showing a little bit of moderate drought here in the Palmer Index here, and haven't had much precip over the last 3 months. So hopefully this doesn't become a thing. Maybe we can get some precipitation out of these next couple of systems here as we go, and then maybe on into November to kind of keep that from becoming abnormally dry or eventually drought conditions as we go through the fall and winter months. But anyway, you can see where Tropical Storm Hillary moved up across, of course, as we went through a couple months ago there as well. So yeah, good news on that front. Anyway, yeah, there's the hurricane down there. There goes our next system there. And that next polar lobe is way up here right now. And we're going to just continue to watch the track of this and how much of this cold air will get down across the Intermountain West. That is the question to be answered. But anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Check out my El Nino video I put out yesterday, generally a California outlook. I may do a Pacific Northwest outlook here for today to kind of talk about the above average temperatures expected up there and give a little more perspective on that. But anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. There's a slight chance I may do another video today, depending on what the models say for as far as consolidation for that next trough dropping down across much of the West Coast. But otherwise, I will talk to you tomorrow morning at the latest. So I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll talk to you guys later.